Let's be honest. Who hasn't dreamed of a robot that could do all your chores? For years and years, it's been pure science fiction. But you know what? Today, we are right on the edge of that becoming a reality. In this explainer, we are going to dive into the incredible journey of humanoid robots, from the factory floor all the way to, maybe, our own living rooms. I mean, think about it. For over 70 years, we've been obsessed with this idea of a robot butler, right? A Rosie from the Jetsons who could just make our lives way easier. It's this really powerful vision that has totally shaped what we expect the future to look like. But the real question is, how does that dream actually stack up against what's happening today? Well, the reality can be a little different. This quote, it just perfectly captures the moment a reporter saw a super advanced, state-of-the-art robot completely fail at making a simple cup of coffee. It's this hilarious, perfect example of the huge gap between our futuristic dreams and the, let's be honest, often comical reality of where the technology is right now. So, okay, if our homes are still a bit of a challenge, where are these robots actually thriving? Well, the answer is in the structured, predictable world of industry. Let's take a look at how they're already changing the game on the factory floor. In factories and warehouses all over the world, humanoids are already hard at work. We're talking about robots like Atlas, which is in a Hyundai factory moving car parts with incredible precision, and Digit, which is designed just to haul packages around in big logistics centers. See, in these really controlled environments, they are fantastic at all those repetitive and physically tough jobs. So, this all begs the question, right? How in the world do these robots learn to do such complicated things? It's not magic, I promise you. It's actually a really fascinating mix of human guidance, massive, and I mean massive, amounts of data, and some seriously powerful artificial intelligence. Okay, so at the very heart of how most of these robots learn is a process called teleoperation. The best way to think about it is like a puppet master controlling a puppet, but with a really high-tech twist. You have a human, often wearing a VR headset, who performs a task, and the robot mirrors their every move. And the robot's AI is learning from every single action, slowly building its own library of how to get that task done. This whole process creates this incredibly powerful learning loop. So it starts with a human showing how it's done, which generates just a flood of data. Then the AI takes that data and practices the task millions of times in a virtual simulation. And finally, the robot tries it out in the real world. It's kind of like learning to shoot hoops, right? You watch someone else do it, you practice your form over and over, and then you try to actually sink the shot for real. And this brings up a really crucial and honestly kind of wild part of this whole AI revolution, the human element. You see, behind every single smart robot, there's basically an army of human teachers who spend their days doing really mundane things like folding laundry or opening doors, all just to create the data these machines desperately need to learn. It's a powerful reminder that even the most advanced AI is still built on a foundation of human effort. But here's the thing. Taking these robots from a neat and tidy factory and putting them into our living rooms, that is a monumental leap. In fact, it's pretty much the biggest challenge the entire industry faces. Why? Because our homes are a universal way from the controlled environment of a factory. I mean, just think about it. A factory is a robot's paradise, right? Flat surfaces, repetitive tasks, everything is predictable. A home, on the other hand, is just chaotic. It's a mix of stairs, clutter, and of course, the ultimate wild cards, kids and pets. It's an environment where the unexpected is the absolute norm, and that is a massive problem for robots that are built to thrive on predictability. And you can really see these challenges playing out with the current generation of domestic robots. Sure, they can fold a shirt, but it might take them a minute and a half. They can tidy a room, but pretty often a human has to step in when they get stuck. And tasks that need fine motor skills, like understanding soft things, like putting on a jacket, that's still incredibly difficult for them to master. So, getting over these technical hurdles, that's just one part of the story. The race to build the first truly useful domestic robot is also a super high stakes game with massive financial implications. And as we inch closer to that reality, we're being forced to confront some really big questions about our jobs, our privacy, and honestly, the kind of future we really want to build. And just how high are the stakes? Well, according to Goldman Sachs, the humanoid robot market is set to explode to a staggering $38 billion in the next decade. That's a huge incentive for companies and countries to pour resources into this technology. And it's creating this fierce global competition for who's going to get there first. But this gold rush, it comes with its own set of problems. As we race towards a future filled with humanoid robots, we really need to get to grips with two major concerns that are going to affect every single one of us. First up, there's the question of jobs. Are these tireless machines going to make human workers obsolete? Or will they just create new kinds of jobs we can't even imagine yet? That is a debate that is really heating up. And then there's the privacy issue. I mean, to learn, these robots have to see and hear everything in our homes. Are we really comfortable with a stranger or a corporation having that kind of access to our lives? And look, the companies building these things are pretty upfront about it. As this quote from the founder of the robotics company 1X makes super clear, the path to a useful domestic robot is paved with our personal data. It forces a direct and pretty urgent conversation about what we're willing to share in exchange for convenience and what kind of transparency we should be demanding from these companies. So, with all this in mind, the tech, the money, the concerns, the million-dollar question is still, when? When will we actually have a robot helper in our homes? Well, if you ask the experts, you are going to get a whole lot of different answers. The timeline for when we'll all have one is, frankly, anyone's guess. On the super optimistic end, we could see a huge surge in robot orders as early as 2026. A more common prediction is something like a 5 to 10-year wait. But then you have others, like the International Federation of Robotics, who are more cautious, suggesting it could be 2 decades, or even more. But before we dismiss those optimistic predictions, it's worth remembering the story of driverless cars. Just a decade ago, they seemed like some far-off dream, right? Today, they're a reality on the streets of many cities. It's this powerful reminder that when it comes to technology, the future can show up a lot faster than we think. And a lot of people believe humanoid robots are on that exact same path. And so here we are at this fascinating crossroads. The question is no longer if these robots are coming, but when and how. As we design machines in our own image, to take on our work and to enter our most personal spaces, we're really forced to think about what that means for us, for our society, and for our own identity in this incredible future that is, without a doubt, rapidly unfolding.